All right, hello, welcome to the weather update. It's November 23rd, 2018, and I'm showing you some pictures of the lake in Wantar, Mill Lake, that it's frozen over. I'm just showing you what the cold weather we've had has done to our lakes. It's very unusual to see them freeze this early, but they will be thawing out. So let's get to the weather update. All right, so let's get started with this weather update. So we started off clear. In fact, I better refresh that. That's from this morning, 8:30. But the high clouds rolled in by around noonish. So we're going to now play this, and you'll see that the high clouds here have rolled in here. So you see the high clouds rolling in across the area. And also, I also want to look at the visible satellite as well. Let's do that. We'll go to the MODIS for that, because this is visible on this. It does not work that well. So we'll go to the MODIS and we'll take a look and see what was going on. So you could see the high clouds that were streaming in over our area today. Most of them were from the aircraft. You can actually make out the contrails here from the high clouds that were streaming in across the area. Yeah, it affected Long Island, Little New Jersey too. However, what didn't happen was the coastal clouds. They didn't really move in over the Jersey Shore like we thought, these patchy cumulus clouds that didn't move over. But the morning was clear, so if we actually, once again, rewind it to the morning here, you'll see that it was clear in the morning. But the clouds did roll in by noon. Around noon they started rolling in, I guess around 12 o'clock or so they started rolling in the high clouds. So let's take a look and see what's going on tonight with the temperatures, because they are dropping quickly, I have a feeling. So we're going to first start off to where they are going to drop off quickly, and that would be West Hampton. It's already down to 18. And last night, sure enough, just as I expected, temperatures wound up getting down into the single digits. They actually hit 6 degrees. That's right, you see that right here, 6 degrees, single digits in West Hampton. The rest of us will hit Farmingdale. The rest of us were in the teens last night, so you can see it's already warmer in Farmingdale than West Hampton. So we dropped to 14 at Farmingdale. Quite cold, and sure Islip got down. Let's see what Islip got down to. You know what? We'll look at the climate report for that. Let's see what the other cold spot, Toms River. Let's see how they got last night. Now, not as cold as West Hampton tonight, 22. And they did not get into the single digits, so not as cold as West Hampton. West Hampton was the cold spot in our area with the single digits. But they did have radiational cooling, but just not as good as West Hampton. West Hampton, there's always something about that spot. It's in the dwarf pines, and it always drops like a rock on a clear night with light winds or no winds at all. It'll always get cold. So let's look at the climate. Let's take a look at this and see. Let's take a look and see what the readings were. So we're looking at New Jersey. All right, let's go to our area. So let's go once again. Got to find the climate thing here. It's laid out differently here. Yeah, here it is. Local past weather. So we're going to first take a look at Central Park's daily climate report and see what that has. So this was as of 4 p.m. So the low in Central Park was 15. Did not quite break the record. The record was 14. But the record that we did break for the record second coldest Thanksgiving, that was like a 100-year record. So these are records that are being tied or broken are like long-time records. Let's see what Islip may have broken the record. Let's see. Nope, the low is 15. That did not break the low of 13. There was a record low of 13 in Islip in 1989, so it did not break that as well. So I guess it did not break any records last night, but it was quite cold, especially in the Pine Barrens. Unfortunately, there are no long-time records for West Hampton. So let's get to the forecast. Things are going to be changing rather quickly. And for this forecast, because we're looking at just basically the weekend, we will shift over to the NAM. All right. So first thing we'll look at precipitation. So we have a heavy precipitation event that is going to occur tomorrow night. So this high moves offshore. We get the return flow. So fortunately, we have warm air moving in, and just maybe in the valleys, well inland in Pennsylvania, they may have some mixed precipitation. But for us, it's just going to be plain rain. So a couple of showers, maybe late afternoon, early evening. But the bulk of the rain doesn't come until later, and this is some really heavy rain. Look at this coastal low getting going, and some really heavy rain. That this low is real. It almost looks. Look at how tight the isobars are on this. This is going to be a very intense low. It almost looks somewhat tropical in nature. So it's going to bring some heavy rain, maybe some strong winds too, to the coast. This storm is going to be intense, and this is going to occur late Saturday night, overnight into Sunday morning. So that low looks quite wrapped up, really wrapped up, really unusual. We're gonna have to look at the water temperatures and figure out why that's happening. Probably because they're warmer than normal. So again, this could be some thunderstorms offshore with this heavy rain. Let's take a look and see what the NAM has for the accumulated precipitation. So yeah, we could be getting quite a bit of rain from this. It has us over 2 inches in a lot of areas, over 2 inches. Some areas could be 3 inches. So it could be anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain. This is going to be a real wet soaker. Again, very unusual. Let's figure out what's feeding this. So we're going to actually look at the dew points here and see what's going on with that. See, maybe we have some humid air feeding into it. We do. Yep, we do. Here's a tropical flow coming in, dew points in the 70s, flowing into this center of low pressure here. Those dew points won't reach us, but because of you got that humidity, that fuel that's occurring. So let's briefly go over the temperatures. You'll see that as we go into tomorrow, things warm up rather quickly. You can see temperatures into the 40s. Get that surge of warm air. And then for Sunday, we see another, as the sun comes out, where the sun is out, you'll see temperatures will go into the mid-50s, which is about 5 degrees above normal. And the NAM will probably have a similar result as well. So let's look at that. And yeah, it does. So yeah, 50s for Sunday. And as far as Saturday goes, you could see that push of warm air right there. So the NAM is more aggressive with the warm air. Probably explains why it's deepening that coastal storm more with more warm air and more energy. I'm curious of clouds. Yeah, look at that. There's almost like a little eye there. That's really unusual. This storm is going to have to bear watching. So yes, we're going to have plenty of clouds tomorrow, and then for Sunday it gets out of here, and then maybe we see some partial sunshine, more west than east. For Sunday. But yeah, this storm I'm a little worried about. So I'm going to go and look at another model now. We're going to look at the RGEM. We're going to look at that. Let's go back to the precipitation and see. This thing, this is ridiculous. Alright, so alright, you can see it does not do that. It does not form a low like the NAM does. So it does not. I don't know if that's a problem with the NAM run or not, but well, it does, but it forms it much further inland, the RGEM. But there could still be heavy rain. And look what happens offshore, though. That could be tropical. Have to keep an eye on that. Look at that. Now, let's see how much rainfall the RGEM produces. Could be similar amount of rainfall, though. No, not quite as much. That would produce more between like 1 and 2 inches of rain. Alright, so now we go to the HDRPS. Let's look at that. And a similar result from the HDRPS as far as the total rainfall. So we're trying to figure out is if the NAM is the odd one out here. So let's again look at this and take a look at this. So the low, yeah, it forms the low much further inland. So that's why you don't get that coastal thing going on there. But still some heavy rain, probably from anywhere from after 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow night right through probably 4 or 5 a.m. The worst of it, obviously, it depends on where you are. Obviously, the east end of Suffolk is going to get it more toward 3 or 4 in the morning, whereas western Long Island, New Jersey, New York City, probably more around midnight. But that looks like some quite heavy rain there. So, alright, I'll look at the GFS. It'll be the last one we're going to look at here. Alright, here's the GFS. The GFS does form that coastal. So, yeah, so the GFS and the NAM have a coastal. What am I going to lean toward here at this point? Well, I'm leaning toward the coastal, just because it's that time of the year and not as deep with the coastal, but it does have the coastal low there forming, and it looks like it has us bringing some pretty heavy rain. So let's see the rain totals with this. No, that's not the right one. Total accumulated. So let's see. Yeah, a little higher with the GFS. Still not as high as the NAM. So all I'm going to say is this bears watching. Either way, I think we're going to get some heavy rain. Whether it's going to be heavy rain up to 2 inches or 1 to 2 inches or up to 3 inches, that will have to be decided tomorrow when I do the next weather update, and whether we're going to see the winds and the coastal impacts from this storm forming or not. That is the question. I just want to check one more thing, and we're going to end this weather update. So let's check the marine weather. I'm going to see what the marine water temperatures are. Let's see what we got here going on. So I'm going to look at this one here, south of Montauk. Let's see how warm they are. The water temperature is 51, so it's not that warm. So I mean, it's not really warm enough to cause tropical activity. So I don't know. So the NAM may be overdoing it. However, let's not discount the NAM completely because it was right about the last storm. Let's do this one, south of Fire Island. 51 is the water temperature there. So not that warm, the water temperatures. I would like to see what it's a little further south, but for that we're going to need to look at some other information. So we can actually go, and I think I'm trying to think of a site here that would do a Ventus sky. I think that does the that might do sea surface temperature. I don't know. It might. No, it doesn't. It doesn't do sea surface temperature. I'm curious as to what the NAM has as far as the precipitation goes. I want to see how that. I want to see how this model does tomorrow night. So yeah, it has some pretty intense convection offshore. That's the thing. So I need that water temperature. So let's go to Earth and old school that. I'll just try that one, and then that'll be it. I just want to see if the water temperature. So let's go over here. Let's take a look at the sea surface temperature anomaly, and we will see here. So ocean and sea surface temperature, and sea surface temperature anomaly is what we need to look at. Okay, there are patches of warm water offshore, so there are patches, but it's not that close. So the NAM may be overdoing it a little bit. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Just keep an eye on it. Beware. Late tomorrow night, the Sunday morning, it's not going to be fun being outside with a lot of heavy rain, probably localized street flooding. Anyway, I'll have another weather update before that storm gets here. So that's going to be it for this one. Have a good night.